video, we're going to discuss, are we getting closer to a student loan forgiveness or elimination? And I'm going to be giving my top 5 proposals on how we can tackle this $1.7 trillion student loan crisis that we're in. Let's get into it. Hey guys, I'm Tasha from the Major Change Group, where we believe small changes can create big results. Now, if this is your first time on the channel, we talk about credit, budgeting, student loans, and everything in between. Now, you guys, we have less than 50 days left until the end of the year, and we know that Donald Trump extended the student loan no payment and no interest until December 31st. Now, we know that they're going to be transitioning office from Donald Trump to Biden, and what are they going to do with the student loans? I mean, time is ticking, it's running out. Now, we know in March they had passed the CARES Act, where they had stopped the student loan and interest on student loans. And you guys, I kept paying my student loans, and it wasn't until, I want to say, this month, so for November and December, I'm not going to be making my student loan payments. But I'm not going to say that it was a wrong thing to do, because I finally was able to see my student loans under $60,000, which is great. But I really want to know, are they going to extend the student loan no payments, or are they going to forgive or eliminate any of the student loans, which will be great. So let's talk about it. Now, we're going to go back and see, well, what has Joe Biden and Kamala been talking about as it relates to the student loans, and then my top 5, along with some of you guys' comments from some of my previous videos on how we can tackle this $1.7 trillion student loan debt. The internet is hilarious. So my mom, she ended up sending me an Instagram post of a lady that had tagged Joe Biden in her post saying, "Joe, do not forget about what you said in July." And so I went looking on the internet to see, okay, what has Joe said about student loans? And I found this article, and I will put it in the description. And so Joe was saying, I will forgive your student loans. And I'm like, okay, Joe. Now, Joe Biden said that he is up for eliminating about $10,000 of student loan debt as it relates to the pandemic. Now, Joe has some other recommendations as well. So he's more so on providing free tuition for public school and universities, and he wants to double the Pell Grants and revise the income-driven repayment plan. Now, one thing that I really liked was, because we all know that as it relates to student loans, you cannot discharge them in bankruptcy, but he is suggesting that now that he will allow private student loan holders to discharge their student loans in bankruptcy. Now, I found some information from what Kamala was suggesting, and she is definitely on board for what Joe Biden, and so she was wanting to eliminate $10,000 of student loan debt as well. So I really like what they're saying about student loan debt. Now, another fact is, for the Senate and the House, currently we have the Republicans in the Senate and we have the Democrats in the House. And you know, they have not even been able to agree upon a stimulus package, let alone what we're gonna do about what they're gonna do about the student loans. So there is gonna be a runoff. I want to say for Georgia, for the Senate, I think that's gonna be the deciding factor whether it's gonna be Democrat or Republican. Now, if we see a Democratic Senate and a Democratic House, I think we might be onto something, and we might get student loan forgiveness sooner than later. Now, the amount for the student loan elimination or the forgiveness, that might be up in the air. But like I said, the Senate Democrats, they had proposed $50,000. You know, $10,000 has been up in the air. As long as they eliminate a portion of it, I'm okay. Now we're going to talk about what are my top 5 proposals to tackle this $1.7 trillion in student loans. So my top 5 is eliminating $10,000, $25,000, or $50,000 in student loan debt. Now, before you judge me on this, while I would like for my student loans to be eliminated, I just don't know that that would be the right thing to do, because if people are still going to continue to borrow money, that's only going to be a band-aid, and we're going to be right back to where we are 5 years, probably not even 5 years from now. So I do not think that eliminating, you know, 10 or 15,000 or $20,000 in student loan is the right way to go. But if they do it, I'm all for it. Number 4, fleeing the U.S. so that I can escape my student loans. Now, if I could keep my same job and I could be on an island, I would do it in a heartbeat. I guess. But no, you guys will have to go over to a channel called Escape Student Loan Debt. He has a book where he's talking about how he escaped the U.S. with his student loans, and I've been reading the book, and so far it's good. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a video on the book, just giving, you know, like a review of the book. But so far, so good. Number 3, revamping the student loan forgiveness program. Now, I know in the previous student loan forgiveness program, it's like they would approve some people, but really a lot of people was denied, and not a lot of people have been able to get student loan forgiven. But I would say they could forgive student loan payments if you can make your payments 10 years straight. You have to make them on time. You cannot miss any payments. And then after 10 years, they could forgive it. It would be no matter if you were a doctor, lawyer, you worked in private, you worked in public, forgive all student loans. But you have to make your student loan payments for 10 years, and after the 10 years, it's forgiven. Number 2, borrowers only have to pay back what they borrowed. Now, the only thing that I do not understand about student loan debt is, okay, so when you're in school, you borrow the money, and then they put it on deferment. Then when you get out of school, they tack on all that student loan interest. And then after, you know, period is up, then you start making your student loan payments, and then they add interest onto the student loans every month after that. And that's the reason why people cannot finish paying their student loan debts. Now, in one of my student loan videos, a gentleman had put down in the comments, and he had put his suggestion was, okay, if you borrow $50,000 in student loan, and let's say with your payments, your regular principal payments, and your interest payments, because you know that interest be eating up your payment, if you add all that together and it equal $50,000, then you don't have to pay any more of your student loans. You're done. But let's say you, with your student loan payments and your interest payments, you only pay $20,000 of your student loans. Then you should only have $30,000 of your student loans left. You shouldn't have to pay any more interest on there. And so I think that that's a great idea, because that's why I had continued to pay on my student loans, because I really wanted to see it decrease. Because I know for sure, for probably like one full year, a few years ago, all of my payments was interest. So like $385.57. That's how much I paid on my student loans. For one full year, it was all interest payments. None of it went to the principal. And that's why the student loans take forever for you to pay it off. It's like you really have to make sure to have a plan in order to get your student loans paid off. So that's number 2. So the number 1 top proposal is to continue with the elimination of student loan interest. Now, I will continue no student loan payments until September 30th of 2021, but I would just eliminate student loan interest forever, ever. No student loan interest. Because the student loan interest is just, you never can pay your student loans off with the student loan interest. So I guess number 1 and number 2 are kind of the same, but I would just eliminate student loan interest altogether. Or I think in one of my other videos, I had maybe said, even if they put, you know, like when you're in school and then it's deferred, and then when you get out of school, if they put the interest on one time, so if you have a 6% interest rate, they put it on there one time, and then that's it. After they put the 6% interest on there, they don't put any more on there every month. That's it. So then here's where your student loan payment is going to be, and that's it. They don't put any more interest on there, because like I said, when they put the interest on there, if you don't pay more than the minimum payment, it's like you can never, even if you pay more than the minimum payment, it's like the interest just eats it up. So for me, I borrowed the student loans. I do not mind paying the student loans back. You know, I have still been paying my student loans, except for this month and next month I won't pay it. But I definitely really feels like something has to give, something has to happen, because this student loan, $1.7 trillion student loan bubble is gonna be popping. It's gonna pop soon, and so they really have to figure out how they can tackle this. And I just don't feel like eliminating 10 or 15 or 25 or $50,000. Now, I would say the only way I would say that this would be the way to go is if they pay off all of your student loans. Well, let's say they pay off 25,000 of your student loans. If they pay off 25,000 of your student loans, then you can never borrow any more student loan money. And if you go back to school, you have to pay it back yourself. Or, you know, Joe Biden is saying that he wants to increase the Pell Grants and make public schools free and things of that nature. So if they can come up with a plan along that, then I would say pay off and eliminate some of the student loan debt. But if they're gonna eliminate some of the student loan debt and then you can just borrow more of the student loan debt, then I don't think that it's a good idea. So drop down in the comments and let me know, which one did you think would work? And which one, and if it was one that I didn't say, what do you think would be a good proposal to tackle this $1.7 trillion in student loan debt? Now, we only have about 50 days left before the end of the year, and we'll have to see what they're gonna do. Time is ticking. What are they gonna do for this student loan debt? Hopefully they will extend the no student loan payments or no interest payments until, you know, maybe the beginning of, you know, February, March of 2021, or maybe even they'll extend it till September 30th of 2021, because that was in one of the proposals. So I hope that they extend it until September of next year, and I think that I will not make my payments if they extend it, but we'll see. But I hope that this video has been helpful. Please like, subscribe, share with a friend, turn on your notification bell so that you will be the first to be notified when new content comes out. And I thank you so much for watching.
It's not a game.